There are moments in true crime when a single signal, faint, ambiguous, and easy to dismiss, becomes the difference between a mystery that drifts into silence and a truth that finally speaks. A signal that shouldn't be there. A message that doesn't quite make sense. A digital whisper that arrives too late to save a life, yet somehow guides investigators to it. In September of 2021, the world was watching one such signal unfold in real time. Millions of people refreshed their screens, studying maps, timelines, and fragments of data, all asking the same question: where is she? The answer would not come from a confession. It would not come from a witness. It would come from a signal, brief, confusing, and ultimately chilling, that pointed detectives toward a young woman lost in the vastness of the American wilderness. This is the story of how an unexplained digital message helped lead investigators to Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito was 22 years old when she disappeared. By all outward appearances, she was living a dream that many people only ever imagine. Along with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, she had set out on a cross-country road trip across the western United States in a white Ford Transit van. The plan was simple and aspirational: visit national parks, document the journey on social media, and build a future as travel content creators. Their carefully curated posts showed sunsets, laughter, and wide, open roads. But behind the filtered images, something was unraveling. In August 2021, police body camera footage from Moab, Utah captured a tense roadside stop after witnesses reported a domestic dispute between the couple. Gabby appeared distressed, crying and apologizing, while Brian was calm, even joking at times. Officers separated them for the night, but ultimately filed no charges. The incident would later take on a haunting significance, becoming one of the last verified moments anyone saw Gabby alive. After that night, communication from Gabby became sporadic. Friends and family noticed changes in tone. Messages felt shorter, less like her. Still, nothing definitively signaled danger until the messages stopped altogether. On September 1, Brian Laundrie returned alone to his parents' home in Northport, Florida. Gabby was not with him. He did not report her missing. He did not explain her absence. He said nothing at all. 10 days later, Gabby's family reported her missing. As the search began, and detectives faced a familiar modern challenge, separating digital noise from meaningful signal. Gabby's phone records, social media accounts, and travel history were examined piece by piece. Investigators reconstructed timelines based on credit card usage, GPS data, and eyewitness reports from strangers who had crossed paths with the couple on the road. Then there was the text message. On August 30, 2021, a message was sent from Gabby's phone to her mother. It read, "No service in Yosemite." At first glance, it seemed ordinary. Spotty cell service is expected on road trips, especially in national parks. But something about the message didn't sit right with Gabby's family. They knew her plans. Yosemite National Park was not on her confirmed route at that time. More importantly, Gabby typically referred to places by their full names or shared photos alongside her messages. This text was abrupt, out of character, and oddly vague. Investigators noticed something else. The message was sent after the last known sighting of Gabby by multiple witnesses. It was a signal, but one that raised more questions than answers. Detectives could not immediately confirm who sent the message. Was it Gabby briefly regaining service? Or was someone else using her phone? Without definitive proof, the text remained an anomaly in the case file, highlighted, flagged, and quietly troubling. As the search widened, law enforcement appealed to the public for help. Tips poured in from across the country. Then came a breakthrough that shifted the investigation dramatically. A YouTube travel vlog recorded by another couple showed Gabby and Brian's van parked off a remote road near Spread Creek, in Wyoming's Bridger, Teton National Forest. The video had been uploaded weeks earlier, but its significance went unnoticed until viewers recognized the van during the search. This discovery gave detectives a critical geographic anchor. It suggested Gabby's last known location might not be Yosemite at all, but Wyoming, And suddenly, that unexplained text message took on a darker meaning. Investigators began triangulating phone data associated with Gabby's device. While exact GPS coordinates were not available from the text alone, cell tower pings and service logs suggested the phone was active in the Wyoming region around the time the message was sent. The implication was chilling. The text referencing Yosemite may not have been sent by Gabby, or it may have been sent to mislead. On September 19, 2021, after days of searching rugged terrain near Spread Creek, authorities found human remains consistent with Gabby Petito. Dental records later confirmed her identity. The cause of death was determined to be homicide by manual strangulation. The signal, the strange, out-of-place text, had not revealed the truth directly, but it had narrowed the field, raised red flags, and kept investigators focused on the timeline when Gabby could no longer speak for herself. In a case built almost entirely on circumstantial digital evidence, that unexplained message became one of the quiet indicators that something was terribly wrong. As investigators pieced together the final days of Gabby's life, the text message remained a focal point. Digital forensic experts analyzed keystroke patterns, message timing, and device usage behavior. While authorities stopped short of publicly confirming who sent the message, the consensus among investigators was clear: it did not align with Gabby's known communication habits. The message was less a clue and more a warning, an unintended signal that exposed an attempt to rewrite reality. Meanwhile, Brian Laundrie vanished. On September 17, his parents reported him missing, saying he had gone hiking in a Florida nature reserve. For weeks, searches continued in 2 states, while the public followed every development with intense scrutiny. In October, Brian Laundrie's remains were found in a flooded area of the Carlton Reserve in Florida, along with a notebook in which he confessed to killing Gabby. The case was closed, but the questions lingered. What makes this story so unsettling is how ordinary the signal seemed at first. A short text, no panic, no plea for help, just a sentence that didn't quite fit. In previous decades, such a message might have vanished into the void, dismissed as irrelevant. But in the digital age, every signal leaves a trace. Every anomaly matters. Detectives are no longer just following footprints in the dirt. They are following data points, timestamps, and behavioral patterns. In Gabby Petito's case, the unexplained signal did not save her life, but it helped ensure her story did not disappear with her. It reminded investigators and the world that sometimes the truth doesn't announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers, buried in a line of text sent from a phone that should have been silent. This case also reshaped how missing person investigations are handled in the public eye. The role of social media in crowdsourced analysis and digital breadcrumbs became impossible to ignore. Viewers, vloggers, and amateur investigators played a role, sometimes helpful, sometimes harmful, in amplifying leads. But at the center of it all was a young woman whose voice was taken away, leaving behind only fragments of herself scattered across the internet, and a single unexplained message that refused to be ignored. That signal mattered, because it forced detectives to ask harder questions, because it exposed inconsistencies, and because it ultimately led them to Gabby. If this story moved you, challenged you, or made you think differently about the digital traces we all leave behind, make sure to support the channel. Subscribe for more deeply researched, real, world stories that uncover the truth behind the headlines. Like this video if you found it compelling, and stay connected, because the next story might begin with a signal no one expects. And sometimes, listening closely makes all the difference.